I don't know how I'm going to do this. Emily Carter whispered the words into the dim kitchen, as if saying them too loudly might make them permanent. The apartment was cold in the way cheap apartments became cold. Not dramatic, not cinematic, just unfair. Cold seeped through the window frame beside the sink, through the cracked strip of caulk her landlord had promised to fix 3 months ago, through the thin socks on her feet. The radiator under the window hissed every few minutes, then fell silent again like it had given up too. On the counter sat a half-empty can of baby formula. Half-empty was generous. Emily had tilted it twice already, tapped the bottom with 2 fingers, and stared into the pale powder as if another scoop might appear if she looked hard enough. Beside it lay a folded receipt from Archer's Market, creased so many times the ink had started to fade. Formula. Diapers. Store-brand oatmeal. Bananas reduced for bruising. Total, $47.83. Her checking account had $2.11. Her wallet had $1 bill, 3 quarters, 2 dimes, and 2 pennies. $1.97 in cash. Mia whimpered from the blanket on the floor, her little cheeks flushed, one fist pressed against her mouth. 8 months old. Too small to understand hunger, old enough to cry from it. I know, baby, Emily said, crouching down even though her knees ached. I know. Mia's cries were not loud yet. That was worse somehow. A tired, dry, uneven sound that told Emily her daughter had already spent too much energy asking the world for something it should have given her easily. Food. Warmth. Safety. Emily picked her up and pressed her against her chest, swaying out of habit. The apartment smelled like watered-down formula, old coffee, damp laundry, and the faint sourness of stress. A late rent notice sat on the small table near the door, face down, as if hiding it changed anything. She had called the daycare that morning to ask whether she could pay Friday instead of Wednesday. The director had sighed before answering. Not cruelly. That was the hard part. Not cruelly, just tired. Emily, I'm sorry. We've already extended you twice. I know. I get paid Friday. I understand, but we have policies. Policies. Emily had held the phone between her shoulder and ear while rinsing Mia's bottle, and she had wanted to laugh. Not because it was funny, because policies always seemed to arrive dressed as reason when people were too exhausted to argue. Then the pediatrician's office had called about Mia's missed follow-up appointment. Then her landlord had texted, rent? One word. No punctuation. Just pressure. Now, standing in the kitchen with Mia tucked against her shoulder, Emily opened her phone and stared at her brother's contact. James Carter. Her thumb hovered over his name. She had already borrowed from him twice this month. $40 for diapers. $25 for the electric bill payment plan. He had sent both, but the second time he had added, you need to figure something out. As if she wasn't figuring every second of her life. As if survival wasn't a full-time job layered on top of her actual job. She typed slowly. James, I hate asking again, but I need $40 for Mia's formula until Friday. I swear I'll pay you back. She stared at the message. Deleted, I hate asking again. Typed it back. Deleted, I swear. Typed it back. Mia made a small choking sound and began to cry harder. Emily closed her eyes. Pride was a luxury. Her daughter's hunger was not. She hit send. For 3 seconds, nothing happened. Then she saw the number at the top of the thread. Not James. A different number. Emily's stomach dropped so fast, she almost swayed. No, she whispered. She tapped the screen, opened the contact details, checked again. She had typed 1 digit wrong. The message had gone to a stranger. A complete stranger had just received her humiliation in 12 plain words. Emily's face burned. She pressed the phone against her chest, as if she could physically pull the message back through the glass. Her heart hammered so hard she felt it in her throat. Then the phone pinged. She flinched. Unknown number. I think you may have the wrong number. Emily stared. Another message appeared before she could respond. Unknown number. Is your baby going to be okay? The kindness of the question hurt more than mockery would have. Emily swallowed. Mia cried against her shoulder, hot and restless. She typed with shaking fingers. I'm so sorry. Please ignore that. It was a mistake. She sent it, then immediately wished she hadn't. It sounded cold, defensive, but what else could she be? The reply came after almost a minute. Unknown number. I'm not your brother. But I can help. What does she need? Emily's eyes filled before she could stop them. She hated that. Hated how quickly desperation turned dignity into something thin and breakable. She typed, "I can't accept money from someone I don't know." The reply came almost immediately. "Unknown number. That's a good instinct." Then, "Unknown number. But babies shouldn't have to wait for adults to know each other." Emily lowered herself into the chair beside the table. One of the legs wobbled. She had stuffed a folded cardboard mailer beneath it last week. She looked at Mia, at the flushed cheeks, the damp eyelashes, the tiny mouth searching against her shirt. "What am I supposed to do?" she whispered. Mia answered with another tired cry. Emily typed, "She uses Similac Alimentum. Smallkin is fine. I can repay you Friday." This time the stranger did not answer right away. Emily's stomach tightened. Maybe he had changed his mind. Maybe he had Googled the price and decided kindness had limits. Maybe he was showing the message to someone else right now, laughing at the poor woman who couldn't even text the right person. The phone buzzed. "Unknown number. There's a pharmacy 12 minutes from you that has it in stock. I can have it delivered." Emily froze. 12 minutes from you. Her hand tightened around the phone. "How do you know where I am?" Three dots appeared. Disappeared. Appeared again. "Unknown number. I don't. I'm sorry. I searched the area code and guessed downtown Chicago. That was careless of me." Emily read the message twice. It was the first imperfect thing he had done. Strangely, it made him feel more real. Still, her guard rose. "Please don't send anything to my apartment." Unknown number. Understood. A pause. Unknown number. Would a pickup order work? Under your name. Paid already. You don't have to meet me. Emily looked toward the window. Outside, rain had begun to fall in thin gray lines. The bus stop was 4 blocks away. Mia's stroller had one wheel that stuck whenever the sidewalk was uneven. The pharmacy was nearly 1.5 miles if it was the one she thought it was. But the formula would be there. Paid for. No stranger at her door. She could do that. Her pride tried to speak. Her daughter cried louder. Emily typed, "Yes. Thank you." Then, after a long moment, "My name is Emily." The response came back, "Nathan. Just Nathan. No last name. No explanation. No smiley face. No attempt to sound charming." Emily stared at the screen, holding Mia close, and felt something open in her chest that was not trust. Not yet. Trust required time. Evidence. Patterns. This was only relief. And relief, she had learned, could be dangerous when mistaken for safety. 40 minutes later, Emily stood under the fluorescent lights of a 24-hour pharmacy with rainwater dripping from the ends of her hair onto her worn coat. Mia was strapped against her chest in a faded baby carrier she had bought secondhand. The carrier's left buckle stuck unless pulled at a sharp angle. Emily had learned that the hard way on a crowded bus while strangers watched her struggle and pretended not to. The pharmacy smelled of floor cleaner, wet umbrellas, and cough syrup. A teenager behind the counter looked up lazily. "Pick up." Emily nodded. "Emily Carter." He typed with one hand while scrolling his phone with the other. Mia whimpered. Emily bounced slightly on her heels. The teenager disappeared behind a shelf, then came back with a paper bag. Already paid. Emily took it with both hands. The weight of the formula inside nearly broke her. Not because it was heavy, because it was enough. "Thank you," she said. The teenager shrugged. "Not me." "No," Emily thought. "Not you." She stepped aside near the blood pressure machine and opened the bag. Formula. Diaper rash cream. Infant fever reducer. A small pack of diapers. And a receipt folded neatly on top. Total, $86.42. Emily's throat closed. Too much. It was too much. Her phone buzzed. "Nathan, I added a few practical things. I hope that wasn't overstepping." Emily stared at the infant medicine. Mia had been warm all afternoon. Not emergency warm. Not yet. But warm enough that Emily had kept touching her forehead and pretending she wasn't afraid. Her fingers tightened. It was exactly what she needed. That was why it frightened her. Emily typed, "It was kind. But please don't do that again without asking." She waited, expecting defensiveness. Men who helped often wanted gratitude to erase boundaries. Nathan replied, "You're right. I'm sorry." Emily read it twice. Then a second message. "Nathan, I should have asked. No excuse. No, I meant well. No pressure." Emily put the phone in her pocket before she could soften too quickly. By the time she got home, Mia's cries had weakened into exhausted whimpers. Emily prepared the bottle with hands that moved from muscle memory. Boil. Cool. Measure. Shake. Test against wrist. Mia latched onto the bottle with desperate little pulls. Emily sat on the floor because the couch was covered with folded laundry she had not had the energy to put away. Her back rested against the cabinet beneath the sink. The cabinet smelled faintly of mildew. Mia drank. Emily watched her daughter's throat move, one swallow after another. The sound was so small and so holy that Emily began to cry silently. Not dramatically, no sobbing, just tears slipping down her face while she held the bottle steady. Her phone buzzed again. She ignored it until Mia finished. Only after her daughter's eyes grew heavy, only after the tiny body relaxed against her, did Emily reach for the phone. "Nathan, I know this may sound strange, but please keep the receipt. If anything was wrong or missing, I can fix it." Emily almost smiled at that. Fix it. Some men said those words like a promise. Some said them like a threat. She typed, "You can't fix my life with a pharmacy receipt." The response took longer this time. "Nathan, no. I can't." Then, "Nathan, but I can make sure tonight is not worse than it has to be." Emily stared at those words for a long time. Outside, the rain thickened against the window. Somewhere upstairs, a couple argued. A pipe knocked inside the wall. A siren passed and faded. Mia slept against her chest, milk-drunk and warm. Emily should have put the phone down. She should have ended the conversation there. Instead, she typed, "Why are you doing this?" 3 dots appeared, vanished, appeared again. "Nathan, because I ignored a message once." Emily waited. Nothing else came. That was all he gave her. A locked door, a crack of light beneath it. And despite herself, Emily felt the first sharp edge of curiosity. Not romantic curiosity, not fantasy, something sadder. The recognition of another person who had a room inside them they did not open easily. She typed, "That doesn't explain anything." "Nathan, I know." Emily looked down at Mia. Her daughter slept with one hand curled in Emily's sweater, as if holding on even in dreams. Emily did not reply, but she did not block him either. And that, for her, was already more trust than she meant to give. Nathan Brooks stood alone in his office on the 46th floor of Brooks Development Group, staring down at the rain-blurred city as if the streets below could accuse him. His phone was still in his hand. Emily Carter. He had looked up the name after the pharmacy order. He told himself it was for safety, to make sure he was not being scammed, to confirm she was real. It was not entirely a lie, but it was not the whole truth either. Nathan had built his life on partial truths. The office behind him was too clean. Glass walls, steel fixtures, dark wood desk, a framed magazine cover he had never liked. The city called him disciplined, visionary, ruthless when necessary. He knew the last one was closest to true. On his desk lay a folder from the legal department. Tenant relocation summary, Halstead renewal project. He had not opened it today. He knew what was inside. Numbers, units, deadlines, compensation tiers, words designed to soften displacement into paperwork, resident noncompliance, deferred maintenance, economic redevelopment. He had signed off on the acquisition 18 months ago, a block of aging apartment buildings in a neglected part of downtown. His executives called them inefficient properties. His investors called them underperforming assets. Families called them home. Nathan had known that too. He had known and still signed. Because the building inspections were legal. Because the city wanted private development. Because the project would create jobs. Because the investors expected returns. Because every machine had reasons for grinding people down. His assistant had once asked if he wanted to tour the buildings before demolition planning began. Nathan had said no. He could still remember how easily the word had left his mouth. No. Then, 2 months later, a woman named Carla Reyes had left 6 voicemails with his office. Pregnant. Facing eviction. Husband gone. Heating broken. Nathan had never heard them directly. His staff filtered tenant calls to the relocation team. By the time her case reached his desk, it was because she had collapsed in a public aid office and been taken to Mercy General. The baby had not survived. The lawsuit was settled quietly. The project continued. Nathan's public statement had used the words deeply saddened. Privately, he had sat in his car outside the hospital for 40 minutes and never gone inside. He had told himself there was nothing useful he could do. That was the kind of cowardice rich men dressed as practicality. Now, months later, a wrong number text about baby formula had landed in his hand while he was reviewing quarterly projections. "James, I need $40 for Mia's formula until Friday." He could have ignored it. For 1 second, he almost had. Then he saw a different name in his memory. Carla. And the silence that followed. Nathan turned from the window and opened his laptop. Emily Carter. It took less than 3 minutes to find enough. Too easy. Too invasive. Former medical billing assistant. Recent employment gap. Current part-time night shift at a laundry service. Address listed in a building owned by one of Brooks Development's subsidiaries. Nathan stopped moving. He read the address again. His chest tightened. No. He opened the relocation file. There it was. Emily Carter, Unit 3B. Late rent. Pending notice. Building scheduled for vacancy review. Nathan closed his eyes. Of all the numbers in Chicago, her message had come to him. Not fate. He did not believe in fate. Consequences, maybe. The universe occasionally had a cruel sense of bookkeeping. His phone buzzed. Emily. That doesn't explain anything. Nathan stared at the message. No, he thought. It doesn't. How could he explain that the stranger who had bought her formula might also be the man whose company was preparing to push her out of the only apartment she could afford? How could he say, I am helping you tonight because people like me helped create the cliff you were standing on? He typed nothing. Deleted 3 different responses. Finally sent, I know. Coward, he thought. He placed the phone face down on the desk. For a moment, the office was completely silent except for the rain tapping against the glass. Then he opened the relocation file. For the first time, he read every name. Not units. Not tenant categories. Names. Emily Carter. Mia Carter. The baby had a name in his mind now. That changed everything. It should not have. But it did. Emily woke at 4:18 a.m. to Mia coughing. Not the small cough from dry air. A deeper sound. Wet. Wrong. She was out of bed before she was fully awake, bare feet hitting the cold floor. The apartment was dark except for the weak blue glow of the stove clock. Mia lay in the crib beside the couch, her tiny body tense, breaths coming too fast. No, 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 Emily whispered. She lifted Mia carefully. Her daughter's forehead was hot against her neck. Too hot. Emily found the thermometer in the drawer where she kept batteries, rubber bands, and old insurance cards. 101.8. She checked again. 102.1. Her hands went cold. She called the nurse line on the back of Mia's Medicaid card and waited through 3 automated menus while Mia cried against her shoulder. If this is a life-threatening emergency, please hang up and dial 911. Emily looked at the late rent notice. At the empty space where money should have been. At her daughter struggling to breathe comfortably. I don't know what counts anymore, she whispered. When the nurse finally answered, Emily described the fever, the cough, the reduced feeding. She tried to sound calm because she had learned that panic made people speak to her differently. The nurse asked questions. Wet diapers. Fewer than usual. Breathing? Fast. Color? Normal mostly. Age? 8 months. There was a pause. I'd like you to have her seen tonight. Emily closed her eyes. Tonight? Yes. With her age and symptoms, it's better to be safe. Emily looked toward the window. Rain still fell. The buses ran less often at this hour. An ambulance would leave a bill. A rideshare would cost more than groceries. But Mia was hot and crying, and suddenly every calculation became meaningless. Okay, Emily said. Okay. She packed the diaper bag with shaking hands. 2 diapers. Wipes. Bottle. Insurance card. The fever reducer Nathan had bought. Nathan. She stared at his last message on the phone. I know. She should not call him. He was a stranger. A stranger with money. A stranger who knew how to order what she needed. That did not make him safe. Emily opened the rideshare app, $34.76. Her throat tightened. She checked the bus route. Next bus, 27 minutes. Then a transfer. Then a 12-minute walk. Mia coughed again, and Emily's fear won. She typed before she could think herself out of it. Mia has a fever. Nurse said hospital. I'm not asking for money. Do you know if Mercy General has pediatric urgent care? She sent it and hated herself immediately. The reply came in under 30 seconds. Nathan, yes. Mercy has pediatric emergency intake. Are you going now? Emily, trying to figure out transportation. Nathan, I can send a car. Emily, no? Nathan, then I can call one and stay on the phone until you're inside. Emily stared at that. Not I'll come. Not let me save you. A smaller offer. A safer one. She swallowed. Emily, fine. But I'm paying you back. Nathan, we can argue about that later. Emily almost responded sharply, but Mia whimpered. and Emily tucked the phone under her chin while fastening the baby carrier. The car arrived 7 minutes later. Not a limousine, not a black fantasy vehicle. A normal sedan with a tired driver named Omar who had a car seat base in the back and asked, "Hospital?" with immediate concern when he saw Mia. Emily sat in the back, holding her daughter, phone pressed to her ear. Nathan did not fill the silence. He stayed on the line as promised. The city slid past in wet streaks of amber and red. Storefront gates pulled down. Trash bags shining in the rain. A man sleeping under the awning of a closed bank. A woman in scrubs waiting at a bus stop with her arms wrapped around herself. Real life did not pause for a mother's fear. At Mercy General, fluorescent lights buzzed over the pediatric emergency entrance. Emily thanked Omar twice, stepped into the cold rain, and carried Mia inside. The waiting room was crowded. A toddler crying into a blanket. A teenager with a swollen wrist. A woman arguing quietly with registration about insurance coverage. The air smelled of disinfectant, vending machine coffee, wet coats, and stress. Emily gave her name at the desk. The clerk slid forms toward her. Insurance card. Emily handed it over. Any changes to address? Emily hesitated. Not yet, she said. The clerk did not look up. Not yet. The phrase lodged in Emily's chest. Nathan's voice came through the phone, low and steady. Are you inside? Yes. Do you want me to stay on? Emily looked at the crowded room. At the forms. At Mia's hot cheek against her chest. No, she said. A pause. Okay. His voice did not change, but something in the silence did. Emily felt unexpectedly cruel. Then she remembered she was allowed to protect herself. I'll message when I know something, she added. Thank you, he said. Not thank God. Not I was worried. Just thank you. As if she had given him something. Emily ended the call. 3 hours later, Mia was diagnosed with a respiratory infection and dehydration concerns. Not severe enough for admission, but serious enough for fluids, monitoring, and follow-up. Emily sat in a vinyl chair beside the hospital crib, one hand through the rail, holding Mia's tiny fingers while her daughter slept after crying herself hoarse. Cold coffee sat untouched on the windowsill. Her coat was still damp. A nurse came in with discharge papers and a prescription. The pharmacy downstairs can fill it, she said. Insurance should cover most of it. Most. Emily heard the word like a trap. At the pharmacy, most turned out to mean the medication was covered, but the spacer device was not. $23.99, the pharmacist said. Emily stared at him. I thought you said it was necessary. It is. But insurance doesn't cover it. Not this brand. Is there another? Not in stock. Behind her, someone sighed. Public embarrassment was not always loud. Sometimes it was just the awareness of other people waiting while your poverty became an administrative delay. Emily stepped aside and opened her banking app. $2.11. She checked her wallet, though she knew. $1.97. Mia stirred in the carrier, feverish and limp with exhaustion. Emily felt something inside herself go still. Not panic. Beyond panic. A numb, practical emptiness. I'll come back, she said. The pharmacist looked uncomfortable. She really should have it tonight. Emily nodded. I know. She turned away before he could see her face collapse. Her phone buzzed. Nathan, how is she? Emily stood under the fluorescent lights, holding a prescription she could not fully use, and wanted to throw the phone across the hallway. Not because he had done anything wrong. Because he existed at the exact moment she had no room left for pride. She typed, she needs a spacer. Insurance won't cover it. I'm handling it. Nathan, Emily. She hated the way her name looked from him. Like he saw too much. Nathan, let me pay the pharmacy directly. No cash to you. No extra. Just the device. Emily's eyes burned. Emily, why do you keep doing this? This time the answer came slowly. Nathan, because your building is owned by my company. Emily stopped breathing. For a moment, the hospital hallway went silent around her. Then the noise rushed back all at once. Elevator ding, distant crying, squeaking cart wheel, intercom announcement. Her thumb hovered over the screen. Nathan sent another message. Nathan, I should have told you earlier. Emily read the words again. Your building is owned by my company. The late rent notice. The broken radiator. The vacancy rumors. The landlord who had stopped answering repair requests. The men in work boots measuring the alley last week. Emily's grip tightened until the paper prescription wrinkled. Emily, what company? Nathan, Brooks Development Group. The name meant nothing for 1 second. Then it meant everything. The notice taped near the mailboxes. Property transition managed by Brooks Development Group. Her stomach turned. Emily typed with shaking hands. Are you the reason we're being pushed out? No answer. That was answer enough. Emily laughed once. A small, ugly sound. Mia stirred. Emily pressed a kiss to her daughter's forehead, then typed, Do not contact me again. Nathan, please let me pay for Mia's medication first. Emily, no. Nathan, this is not about me. Emily, that's the first true thing you've said. She blocked the number before he could respond. Then she stood in the hospital pharmacy hallway with $4.08 to her name, a sick baby against her chest, and the knowledge that the man who had made her feel less alone was connected to the reason she might soon have nowhere to sleep. For a moment, Emily wanted to fold, to sit down on the floor and cry until someone official came and told her what to do. Instead, she walked back to the counter. I need the cheapest spacer you have, she said. The pharmacist looked at her. I told you. I know what you told me. Check again. Something in her voice made him stop. He searched, made a call, found one in another hospital pharmacy across town for $9. Emily took the paper. Then she carried her feverish daughter out into the wet morning and waited 42 minutes for the bus. Because help, she had just been reminded, could come with fingerprints on the knife. By the time Emily reached home, the city had already begun waking up. People in clean coats hurried toward office buildings with coffee in their hands. Buses hissed at curbs. Delivery trucks blocked narrow streets. Somewhere, someone laughed loudly into a phone, as if the morning had not split open for anyone else. Emily climbed the stairs to the third floor because the elevator had been broken again. Each step felt like a negotiation with her body. Mia slept against her chest, fever lowered but still warm. The second pharmacy bag swung from Emily's wrist, holding the cheaper spacer she had crossed half the city to buy. Her shoes were wet. Her jeans stuck coldly to her legs. Her back ached from carrying Mia and the diaper bag in fear. At her door, an envelope was taped beneath the peephole. White. Official. Emily stopped. For a second, she simply stared at it, breathing shallowly. Then she peeled it off. Notice of intended vacancy review. Her hands went numb. Not an eviction notice. Not yet, but close enough to make the walls around her feel temporary. Mia shifted and whimpered. Emily folded the paper once, then again, and put it in the drawer with the others. She did not cry. Crying required spare energy. Instead, she gave Mia her medicine, cleaned the bottle pieces in hot water, changed a diaper, wrote down the next dose time on the back of an old grocery receipt, and called the daycare. I'm sorry, she said when the director answered. Mia's sick. I can't bring her today. There was a pause. Emily, that means you're missing work again? I know. Another pause. Softer this time. I hope she feels better. Emily thanked her and hung up. Then she called the laundry service. Her manager answered on the fourth ring. Emily, this is the third short notice absence in 2 weeks. My baby was in the ER. I understand, but I have a schedule to run. Emily closed her eyes. There it was again. Understanding that changed nothing. I can bring paperwork, she said. I'm not asking for paperwork. I'm saying we need reliability. Emily looked at Mia sleeping in the crib, her mouth parted, breath still rough. She's 8 months old, Emily said quietly. I know, and I'm sorry, but I can't keep holding shifts. The call ended with words that were not officially firing her, but close enough to count. Emily stood in the kitchen holding the silent phone. No work today. Maybe no work next week. Maybe no apartment soon. Her blocked messages remained quiet. For once, Nathan had no way in. She should have felt safer. Instead, she felt alone in a room that suddenly had too many exits closing. Across the city, Nathan Brooks sat in a conference room while 12 people discussed relocation compliance, as if human beings were weather conditions. He had not slept. The legal team had prepared language. The community relations team had prepared language. Everyone had language. No one had answers. Nathan looked at the spreadsheet projected on the wall. Unit numbers, occupancy status, risk category, payment probability. His eyes found 3B. Emily Carter. He interrupted mid-sentence. Stop calling. Them units. The room went quiet. His chief operating officer blinked. Sorry. They're people. Use names. A legal counsel shifted uncomfortably. Nathan, names complicate privacy. Good, he said. Let it be complicated. No one spoke. Nathan looked at the vacancy timeline. How many repair requests are open in the Halstead buildings? A manager cleared his throat. Some. The properties were distressed before acquisition. That wasn't my question. 46 active requests. How many involve heat, water, mold, or infant households? Silence. Nathan's jaw tightened. Find out. After the meeting, his assistant caught him near the elevator. There's a woman downstairs asking for someone from Brooks Development. She doesn't have an appointment. Nathan already knew. He felt it before she said the name. Emily Carter. The lobby of Brooks Development Group was all marble, glass, and quiet money. Emily stood near the security desk in the same damp coat from the hospital. Mia was strapped to her chest. Her face was pale with exhaustion, but her eyes were awake, sharp, and furious. Nathan stepped out of the elevator. For one moment, neither of them moved. Then Emily lifted the folded notice in her hand. You bought my building, she said. Then you bought my formula. Was that supposed to make you feel better? People turned. Nathan deserved every stare. No, he said. Emily laughed once, bitterly. That's all you have. No. But this isn't the place. This is exactly the place, she cut in. Her voice shook, but it did not break. Because men like you always want suffering to happen somewhere private. Somewhere quiet. Somewhere with paperwork. Nathan absorbed it without defending himself. Emily stepped closer. My baby was in the hospital last night. I came home to this. She held up the notice. Your company ignores repairs, raises pressure, waits for people to fall behind, then calls it redevelopment. A security guard moved. Nathan lifted one hand. Don't. Emily saw it. Her mouth tightened. So you can control them too. The words hit harder than she knew. Nathan looked at Mia, then forced his gaze back to Emily. You're right, he said. About more than I want to admit. For a second, Emily seemed almost angrier that he had agreed. Don't perform remorse for me. I'm not. You are. You're standing in a lobby worth more than my entire building, saying the right quiet things. Nathan nodded once. Then I'll do something that costs me. Emily's eyes narrowed. What? I'm freezing the vacancy review. All tenant proceedings. Today. You expect me to believe that? No, that answer stopped her. Nathan reached into his pocket, took out his phone, and called his legal director on speaker. Freeze Halstead. All vacancy reviews. All notices. Put it in writing before noon. The woman on the other end hesitated. Nathan, that will trigger investor questions. Good. He ended the call. The lobby stayed silent. Emily stared at him, breathing unevenly. It was not forgiveness in her face. It was not gratitude. It was the expression of someone watching a locked door open and wondering what trap was behind it. You don't get to become good because you made one phone call, she said. Nathan's throat tightened. I know. Mia coughed softly between them. Emily immediately looked down, hand going to her daughter's back. The anger in her face cracked into fear so quickly Nathan had to look away. There it was. The truth beneath all of it. Not drama. Terror. A mother calculating what the world might take next. Nathan spoke carefully. Mercy has a follow-up pediatric clinic. I can arrange. No, he stopped. Emily adjusted Mia's hat. You can fix your company, she said. You can fix the heat. You can stop pushing families out. You can answer repair requests. But you don't get to arrange my life. Nathan nodded. Fair. Emily turned to leave. At the revolving door, she paused but did not look back. And Nathan? Yes. If you use my name in some redemption story, I'll make sure every reporter in Chicago knows what you were redeeming yourself from. For the first time in days, something almost like respect moved through him. I believe you, he said. She walked out into the wet morning. Nathan stood in the lobby long after she was gone, surrounded by employees who suddenly had no idea where to look. For years, he had believed shame was private. Emily had made his public. And somehow, that felt like the first honest thing that had happened to him in a long time. That afternoon, the heat came back on in Emily's apartment. Not perfectly, not magically. The radiator clanked, hissed, and filled the room with uneven warmth that smelled faintly metallic. A maintenance man knocked at 2:15 with a toolbox and an apologetic expression. Management sent me, he said. Emily almost laughed. Management. She let him in but watched every move. By evening, 2 more repair notices had appeared in the lobby for other tenants. Mrs. Alvarez from 2A came upstairs to ask if Emily knew what had happened. Emily said, I made noise. Mrs. Alvarez nodded slowly. Good, she said. Make more. That night, Emily sat on the floor while Mia slept beside her, breathing easier now. The apartment was still small. The bills were still real. Her job was still uncertain. But the room was warm. Warmth did not solve everything. It did, however, make survival less cruel. Her phone remained quiet. Nathan did not try to bypass the block. No unknown numbers. No deliveries. No surprise rescue. For 3 days, there was only silence. On the 4th day, an envelope arrived by mail. No fancy stationery. No personal note. Just a formal tenant notice stating that the Halstead vacancy review had been suspended pending independent housing review, emergency repairs, and tenant consultation. Emily read it twice. Then she sat down because her legs had gone weak. At the bottom was a contact number for a tenants meeting. Not Nathan's number. Not a private favor. A public process. Emily pressed the paper flat on the table. For the first time, his help did not feel aimed at her. It felt aimed at the harm. That mattered. Not enough to forgive, but enough to notice. The tenants' meeting happened in the basement of a church that smelled like coffee, old hymnals, and damp coats. Emily almost did not go. Mia had a follow-up appointment the next morning. Emily had 2 overdue bills. Her manager had reduced her hours until things stabilized, which meant nothing stable at all. But Mrs. Alvarez knocked on her door and said, "Bring the baby. We all are going." So Emily went. Nathan was already there when she arrived. No podium, no expensive suit, dark sweater, rolled sleeves, tired face. He stood near the folding chairs while tenants shouted at him. And they did shout. About mold, about heat, about rent, about letters that made elderly people cry, about phone calls never returned. Nathan did not interrupt. He wrote things down. Once, a man accused him of pretending to care because cameras might come. Nathan looked toward the back of the room, where no cameras stood. "You have no reason to trust me," he said. "So don't. Trust what changes. Track it. Demand proof." Emily sat with Mia in her lap, listening. She hated that he sounded sincere. She hated more that sincerity was not enough. When the meeting ended, Nathan did not approach her. That was the first thing he did right. Emily was the one who stopped near him on her way out. "Mia's fever broke," she said. Something in his face shifted before he controlled it. "I'm glad. She still needs follow-up." "Okay. I'm handling it. I believe you." Emily studied him. He looked older than he had in her doorway. Less polished. Less certain. "Who was the message you ignored?" she asked. Nathan went very still. Around them, chairs scraped. Tenants gathered coats. Someone poured the last of the coffee into a paper cup. His voice was low when he answered. "A woman named Carla Reyes." Emily waited. "She lived in one of our properties. Different project. She kept calling about heat, rent pressure, unsafe conditions. I never listened directly. I let the system handle it." His mouth tightened. "She was pregnant. She collapsed. Her baby died." Emily's face changed. Not softening, deepening. "That's why you helped me." "Yes." "So I was never just Emily." Nathan flinched slightly. At first, maybe not. The honesty hurt both of them. Emily looked down at Mia, who was asleep with her cheek pressed against Emily's sweater. "I don't want to be someone's guilt." "I know." "No," she said quietly. "I don't think you do. Guilt still centers you, even when you're sorry." Nathan took that in. "You're right." Emily shook her head, exhausted. "Stop agreeing with me like it fixes anything." A faint, pain breath left him. Not quite a laugh. "I don't know how to do this." That was the first sentence from him that sounded completely helpless. Emily looked at him then. Really looked. Not CEO. Not rescuer. Not villain cleanly drawn. A man with money, power, damage, and blood on the edges of his decisions. A man trying late. Maybe too late. Maybe not. "I don't either," she said. Then she left. But this time, she did not feel the need to run. Weeks passed. Nothing healed quickly. Emily found temporary morning work doing billing data entry for a clinic. Less money than she needed, but more predictable than night shifts. Mia improved slowly, though every cough still woke Emily like an alarm inside her bones. The building repairs continued unevenly. Some days, contractors came. Some days, no one did. Mrs. Alvarez kept a notebook of every promise made. Emily helped her make copies at the library. Tenants began speaking to one another more. Doors opened. Names replaced unit numbers. Nathan attended 2 more meetings. He was shouted at both times. He deserved it both times. He also kept showing up. That, Emily admitted privately, was harder than writing a check. One Friday evening, Emily saw him outside the building, standing in the rain without an umbrella, talking to a contractor about the broken front steps. Mia was bundled in her stroller, chewing the corner of a soft book. Emily stopped beneath the awning. "You know you can stand inside," she said. Nathan turned. Rain darkened his hair. He looked tired enough that his wealth could not hide it. "I wasn't sure I should." Emily glanced at the contractor, then at the steps. "You're allowed in the hallway. You own it, apparently." He looked down, accepting the edge in her voice. For now, we're transferring the buildings into a community land trust model. It's complicated, slow, expensive." Emily stared at him. "Why?" Nathan looked at the building. "Because owning people's instability should not be a business model." Emily did not know what to say, so she said nothing. Mia dropped her book. Nathan bent automatically, picked it up, then paused before handing it over. "May I?" Emily watched him for a long moment, then nodded. He gave the book back to Mia. Mia accepted it with the grave suspicion of a baby receiving tribute from an unfamiliar kingdom. Emily almost smiled. Nathan saw it, but wisely did not comment. "I got a job," Emily said. His eyes lifted. "That's good. It's not enough." "No, but it's something." "Yes." She adjusted the stroller blanket. "I'm still angry." "You should be. I still don't trust you." "I know. But Mia recognizes your voice from the meetings." A quiet ache moved across his face. Emily looked away first. The rain softened around them, tapping against the awning, running in thin lines down the cracked concrete steps. "I'm not ready to be grateful to you," she said. Nathan's voice was careful. "I'm not asking you to be." "That's good." A pause. Then Nathan said, "Would it be all right if I kept showing up to the meetings?" Emily looked at him, not as permission, as warning. "You'd better." For the first time, his expression changed into something almost fragile. "I will." Months later, Emily would not remember the exact day her feelings began to shift. It was not the pharmacy, not the lobby confrontation, not the meetings. It was smaller. A Tuesday morning when the elevator finally worked and Mrs. Alvarez cried because her knees no longer had to climb 3 flights. A Thursday when Nathan sat silently while a tenant called him a parasite, then asked what repairs still needed doing. A Saturday when Mia reached for him during a tenant's picnic in the church basement, and Nathan looked at Emily first, waiting. Always waiting. That mattered. Healing, Emily learned, did not feel like music swelling. It felt like not flinching as often. It felt like sleeping 4 hours straight. It felt like opening a bill and not immediately feeling your chest cave in. It felt like a man with every reason to escape discomfort choosing to remain accountable. It felt like saying no and being heard. Winter softened into spring. The Halstead buildings were not beautiful, but they were warmer, safer, still worn, still full of problems, but less abandoned. Emily stood one evening at her kitchen sink, washing Mia's bottles while her daughter banged a spoon against the high chair tray. The window was cracked open. Air moved through the apartment without biting. Her phone buzzed. "Nathan, tenant board approved the repair fund tonight." Mrs. Alvarez scared the finance director. Emily smiled before she could stop herself. "Emily, good." He looked scarable. "Nathan." He was. A pause. "Nathan, how is Mia?" Emily looked over. Mia had oatmeal on her eyebrow. Emily, judgmental. Sticky. Alive. "Nathan, that sounds like a strong review." Emily set the phone down, then picked it back up. Her fingers hovered. Then she typed, "We're having coffee at the church basement tomorrow after the pediatric appointment." Not a date. Tenant board coffee. Mia will probably throw something. She stared at the message. Send it before fear could edit it into nothing. Nathan's reply came after a moment. "Nathan, I'd like that. And I'll sit out of throwing range unless invited." Emily let out a small breath that was almost laughter. Across the room, Mia shrieked happily and slammed the spoon again. The apartment was still small. The bills were still there. Emily was still tired in places sleep could not reach. Nathan's guilt had not disappeared. Carla Reyes's name had not been erased. The damage his company caused could not be undone with policy changes or quiet apologies. But something had begun. Not rescue. Not romance wrapped in fantasy. Something slower. Accountability. Trust. Cautious and unfinished. Two wounded adults learning that being seen was not the same as being saved, and that sometimes hope did not arrive as a miracle. Sometimes it arrived as heat returning to an old radiator, a baby breathing easier through the night, a man who finally stopped hiding behind systems, a woman who refused to become anyone's redemption story, and a text message sent to the wrong number that did not fix a life, but opened the door to one honest enough to begin again.